Hello and welcome to NASCAR Race Weekend. I'm your host Richmond, and let's get into this 5 to 10 minute preview for this Cup Series race at Nashville this weekend. Starting with the NASCAR Cup Series, the odds for this race are a little stacked in the top 5 in odds. Hamlin is leading plus 400. Reddick and Bell are both plus 700. Blaney and Larson are both plus 750. Elliott, Byron, and Briscoe are currently plus 1,200, and Logano rounds out the top 5 in odds at plus 1,600. Looking at our previous winners at Nashville, last year we saw Ryan Blaney take home the win. In 2024, we saw Overtime Madness and Joey Logano take home the win. And in 2023, Ross Chastain took home the win at Nashville. Looking at the Cup Series standings, we see that Chase Elliott, after an early wreck in the Coke 600, has fallen a couple positions here in the standings. And other than that, we're starting to see with Elliott there about a 30-ish point gap between him and Kyle Larson. That's going to be really important when we look at the final standings headed into the chase, because most people are talking about that top 5, top 7 number is where you want to be if you want to have a realistic shot at winning the championship. Obviously, anything can happen, and we will not be surprised if somebody in that 15, 16, 14 seed range potentially wins it all. But what people are talking about and the way the points are and the way that the points have kind of run this year, if you want to be a competitor for the championship, entering that chase, and your name isn't Tyler Reddick, then I would be top 5, top 7. Some people have argued even top 8. So, I mean, we may see some Christopher Bell and Hosvar in that action. But even then, from Larson to Larson and Busch are obviously 1 point apart. Bell isn't too far back. He's 25 back from Larson. Hosvar is about 5 back from Bell. So realistically, between those, there's not too big of a gap in that scenario. And if we're looking at the cut line side of things, then we see SVG, who had an amazing finish this last week in the Coke 600. He almost won the race. Just did not work out his way. He moves actually up. I believe he was 16th last week. He moves up to 14th. Chase Briscoe moves from 17th to 15th, getting on the other side of that cut line. And Austin Cindric is our driver who falls out of the cut line this week. Obviously, there's plenty of races to go left in this season, but definitely something to watch out for. Austin Cindric and Joey Logano currently trailing their teammate Ryan Blaney, who is 3rd in points, looking for a spot in the chase this year. Now, to close out our opening segment on the Cup, we will have Austin Hill once again driving the number 33 for RCR, and Corey Heim will be back in the number 67 this weekend. Now on to the Truck Series this weekend, where we will see Roger Carruth come down from the O'Reilly Series to pilot the Spire number 7, as long with his teammate for this weekend, and Spire 77 will be Jesse Love. And in the number 62 truck, we'll have Parker Retzloff. We have 3 O'Reilly drivers coming down to race at the trucks in Nashville. And then, as normal, we will see Ross Chastain in that number 45 truck. He will not, however, be doing the triple this weekend, despite having done it for 3 weekends in a row. On to the O'Reilly Series we go. In the O'Reilly Series this weekend, we will see only 2 drivers making abnormal starts. However, these are 2 very big names in the number 88 car for, I believe it's JRM affiliated with Hendrick, will be Kyle Larson, who will be racing in Nashville this weekend. And then in the number 33 for RCR, the ever-coveted Cletus McFarland will be making another O'Reilly start this weekend in Nashville on the concrete oval. On to my fantasy lineup for Nashville. I have Chase Elliott in my garage. I think that he could be very competitive. I still have 9 uses on him this season, so I feel like I've got to keep him there. Got to start getting those uses up, so I'm going to leave him there. Not entirely confident in him this week at Nashville, but I think he could be a competitor trying to get some points back after that disappointing Coke 600 finish, as I mentioned earlier. Next, I have Connor Zilisch in my 5 spot. Once again, I'm kind of using this weekend to catch up on some uses. I've got 9 uses of him left. I think that he may be able to make some waves happen, just trying to get some uses out of him, so we'll see what he does. On the same train, my 4 spot, I have Riley Herbst racing for 2311. This is my first use of him this season. He's been decent. He's been better than 35th in points, so that's an upgrade, I guess. In my third spot, kind of an underdog pick I have here, who I believe might make waves this weekend. I have Zane Smith in the 38 for front row. I think that he might get a solid top 15. I mean, he's averaging decent this season. I believe he's in the top 20 in points. No, he actually just fell out of it. I believe he's like 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. So I think he might be able to wake some waves, look for some stage points this weekend. In my second slot, I have Chase Briscoe, number 19, JGR. I've got 9 uses left on him, so use him here at Nashville. I think that he's going to be strong here. He was strong at Dover, and that's another concrete oval. Obviously, different layout, different track, but same general idea. So I love the idea of taking Chase Briscoe here. And my pick for the win, I think he's going to break the streak this weekend, Kyle Larson in the number 5 for Hendrick. I think that he will finally get it done and prove the haters wrong, taking home the win in Nashville. I don't really... I'm not too totally sure about what his average finish is here, but I am confident in the momentum that he's been kind of silently building up in some top 10s, and I think this weekend he will break through the ice and finally get back in victory lane. Make sure to leave your pick for the win in the comments below, and let me know. Who do you think was your underdog story this weekend? Is there an underdog story, or do you think that it's just going to be one of the top dogs taking home the trophy once again? Thank you for watching, and remember to stay rowdy.